Get pointed the right direction before you get to the gas. It's just that split second, but if you look how close everybody is, that's all it takes.
Thanks, Clint.
All right, as Tony Raines hits the racetrack, he'll be our first qualifier. A quick review. 5 of the 6 fastest cars in practice were Fords, led by Matt Kenseth. Montoya, third, was the fastest Chevrolet. Brad Keselowski was the fastest Dodge, 9th, and Joey Logano, the quickest Toyota, 10th. As Tony Raines is our first qualifier.
But, you know, normally you say, well, they got a horsepower advantage or they got an aero advantage. They don't have none of that. They get through the bumps. They got some advantage that they figured out setup-wise to get them through the bumps.
And there they are, right in the middle of turns 1 and 2. That car porpoises just a little bit for Tony Raines. Off the corner on his first time lap, and we think the first lap will be the money lap.
Yeah, because the further you go, you're going to lose more and more grip with the tires. Actually, we anticipate our top 35 guys in particular that are locked in the show that they'll probably only take 1 lap of the 2 that's out there.
So the race fuel energy drink Ford of Tony Raines at 30.45, 177.2 miles per hour.
Picked up about a 10th from what he ran in practice earlier today.
Yeah, looks like he's going to play too.
Yeah, I think you're going to be surprised. A lot of guys will.
Okay.
I think it depends on your tire setup. Depends on how much air you got in your tires. You go for that first one, get it done, or you take it easy on the first one and try to do it on the second one. It depends on your philosophy about qualifying.
And Raines runs identical laps within the 100th of a second. Travis Kvapil up next. It's Robbie.
It's not like Robbie to wait long.
No. He's an impatient man.
That's right. He's very impatient. If you're not going, get out of the way.
The Speed Energy Drink Dodge of Robbie Gordon, whose best start and finish in Las Vegas, 12th.
See, there are 3 career wins. A lot of people maybe don't realize Robbie drove for Richard Childress Racing for a few years and got 3 wins, a couple on road courses. He now, speaking of winless streaks, 250 races since he last went to Victory Lane back in 2003.
Which does not lead the league. It's second, but it's not the highest one. We'll let you ponder that one for a while.
Oh boy, here we go. Gonna tell us tomorrow?
No, but I'll tell you when he qualifies in about 8 more drivers, okay? Krista.
Kasey Kahne hanging out by his race car, and I know you guys overcame a lot of adversity last week to finish strong in Phoenix. What are you looking for here qualifying here at Vegas?
Well, just to get through the bumps. We've kind of struggled a little bit getting through the hole in turn 1. It's pretty violent, so it throws the car around and get tight or loose, whatever it may be. Other than that, I felt like our Red Bull Toyota was pretty close. We can just get through that hole. I think we can pick up a lot of speed pretty quick. So we were 21st in practice. I think we can do a lot better than that, depending on the track.
Okay, thanks, Kasey. And he said violent, Mike. That's how he described those bumps.
Wow. And Robbie Gordon is the 3rd driver to take away the pole. He at 29.76. That's how we expect this to work. Welcome back to Las Vegas, where Matt Kenseth has just broken the track record set by Kurt Busch last year, and we move into knockout qualifying. From slowest to fastest in practice, we begin with Brian Keselowski's number 92 Dodge. Now, Brian was the slowest of 44 drivers in practice at a 30.614. He made the show in Daytona with a push from little brother during his 150-mile dual race. Missed the show last week at Phoenix. Let's see if he's found some speed in this Dodge. First lap, not the slowest of the day, 30.208.
That's a big pickup from his practice. He was a 30.7, I believe it was, in practice. So felt like he was holding a little something just based on how he practiced.
All you'll have to do is if you just beat 1 car, you'll race on Sunday of these go-or-go-homers.
Well, he was sitting right on top of, there were 3 of them at the bottom of the sheet there that were real close together, and that lap there may be just good enough to do it.
Trying for 2 in what's entered as the MGM Dodge and MGM Grand Dodge, and he's quicker, 30.05.
I think he got that first one in there safely. Said that felt pretty good. I'm gonna go for some more. I tell you, that's 30.05. It's not a bad lap.
No, it's not.
Must have been that little lion on the rear quarter panel. There's Doug Yates with Matt Kenseth. It's a man who puts the power under the hood.
I believe I saw back in the background there Carl's husband and wife couple that he helped get married out there.
The newlyweds.
The newlyweds.
Yeah. Well, maybe outside pole, wouldn't be, well, third wouldn't be bad, as a wedding present. It's still a good omen, right? Here's Michael McDowell, got a little bit of practice, not a lot, in his number 66. Phil Parsons, Randy Humphrey's car. Glendale, Arizona driver trying to time his way in and make his second Vegas Cup race.
Now, Brian Keselowski and Michael McDowell, they were the only two cars that didn't make it down to the 29-second bracket in practice earlier. Looks like Michael's just going to be a little bit quicker than Keselowski.
Keselowski's 33rd right now, and McDowell will race on Sunday. 29.708, 31st overall. And Keselowski stays on the hot seat. So good lap for McDowell. Next up will be Bill Elliott, who we know will race. 6 cars to go in knockout qualifying. 1 driver to go home. Brian Keselowski on the hot seat. And here is Landon Cassill in the big red Toyota. He has 4 starts on 1.5-mile tracks in the Sprint Cup Series, but none here. 16 Cup starts last year with 3 different teams. Made the show at Phoenix, but finished 38th.
Told the story last week. Landon told me at Phoenix that what he has figured out how he needs to go about this is he's taken the iRacing program and he's put a qualifying program in it and will work on it for 4 to 6 hours before coming to a racetrack each week, knowing he's going to have to qualify on time.
Now, he did something interesting there getting into 3, Darrell. He was completely out of the throttle going into 3. But recovers nicely, and he is now the fastest go-homer. Landon Cassill, 29.65. He will race on Sunday.
Yeah, that's really the way to approach that corner. Drive it in there, get out of it, and then get right back in it wide open and try to run wide open all the way through the corner. If you can do that, you're going to go fast.
Second lap will be slower. And he got the message.
Once you go in, if you overdrive turn 3 and you get the car sliding up the track, you've killed your whole lap. But if you can get it in there and get it set and you can run the bottom of the corner right around that white line, then you're going to have a good lap.
So Landon Cassill is having to run this car at Phoenix. Was their backup for Phoenix and primary and backup for here because they did not return to North Carolina between the 2 races, as many of the teams did. Front row, Joe Nemechek has a front row start here. The second time we came to Las Vegas, or excuse me, a second row start. He qualified 3rd. That's his best here, and he has 2 top 10 finishes here. Somehow second row Joe doesn't sound as elegant.
There's a cat in the hat. Congratulating Matt on a great run.
Yeah, I mean, it's been almost 2 years since Matt sat on a pole. Darlington back in May of '09.
Yeah, Matt's strong. Matt's always been the strongest coming from the rear of the field. I mean, if he qualified in the top 20, he was feeling really good. And if normally it was 25 to 30, and he'd still find his way to the front most of the time.
Joe Nemechek had trouble in the Nationwide Series, crashed his car in practice, and found that his backup car, which he had lent to Kevin Conway, he could not reclaim as a backup because it had already gone through inspection as the 97. They couldn't change it back into an 87. But you put that out of your mind and you qualify this car 29th fastest, 29.27. Joe Nemechek is fastest of the go-homers, and he will race on Sunday.
I mean, he's sitting there, and he's qualified with this car with no sponsorship support right there around Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kasey Kahne, Boyer, Harvick. I mean, this group just gets a little money to race on. They'd probably be amazed at what they could do.
Good point.
Yeah, because there's a telltale sign about what his plan is for tomorrow. And all you got to do is look right over that right rear tire. There's nothing there, and that's what he'll do tomorrow. He can only afford to most likely start this race and park.
J.J. Yaley next up. Former midget, sprint car, and IndyCar star. Carrying Darlington Raceway on the hood of his number 46. He's had 3 Cup starts here in Las Vegas. 1 top 15 start, 2 top 20 finishes.
Big couple of months coming up for Darlington. The Cup cars are off next week. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series will be there next Saturday night. Of course, it'll be on speed, and we're there May 7th with the Cup race, Southern 500.
That's turned out to be a great weekend for them. Since they lost the Southern 500, having that race on Mother's Day weekend has turned out to be actually a pretty good deal.
Yaley will be second fastest among the go-or-go homers, 29:31. So he will race on Sunday, and Brian Keselowski remains on the hot seat with 2